Welcome to the Pixels and Projects podcast.
Today we're going to talk about how to stop communication breakdowns. For those joining us for the first time, I'm Johnson, and as always, I'm here with my favorite co-host, Jody. How you doing today, Jody?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Excited to dig into this one. You know, I always say, if you want to see a project go sideways, just let folks get confused about who's supposed to do what. It's like guaranteed instant chaos.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. And it's not just us saying that. I was reading the PMI's 2023 report. Get this, 58% of project managers blame unclear roles for project failure. That's more than half. I mean, that's wild.
It really is. And with so many teams working remote or hybrid now, 71%, the stakes are even higher. I mean, back in the day, you could just poke your head over the cubicle and ask, hey, is this yours or mine? Now, you got to scroll through a dozen Slack channels just to figure out who's on first.
Yeah, and sometimes you still don't get an answer. You ever have one of those projects where nobody really knows who's supposed to pull the trigger?
Oh, absolutely. I remember this vendor project a couple years back. Remote teams, lots of moving parts. We had two project leads, both thinking they were supposed to handle the same deliverable. And then, of course, nobody actually did it. The whole thing stalled for a week. It was a mess. And honestly, it all came down to not having clear roles from the get-go.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that'll sink a project before it even gets off the ground. And it's not just about missing deadlines, right? It's about people getting frustrated, losing trust, and then the whole team vibe just tanks.
Exactly. Folks start second-guessing themselves, or worse, they just check out. And then you're not just behind schedule, you're losing your best people. It's a slippery slope, for sure.
So, let's talk solutions. The big one for me is the RACI Matrix. I know it's one of those acronyms that gets tossed around a lot, but when you actually use it right, it's a game changer. You want to break it down for us, Jody?
Oh, I'd love to. So RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. It's basically a way to map out who does what on every task. Responsible is the doer. Accountable is the one who signs off. Only one person, by the way, or it gets messy. Consulted means you want their input, and informed is just folks who need to know what's going on. Simple, but so powerful.
Yeah, and the numbers back it up. McKinsey found that teams using RACI or similar responsibility matrices are 32% more likely to deliver projects on time and on budget. That's not just a little bump, that's a real difference.
And it's not just theory either. Spotify's engineering teams, for example, they rolled out RACI and some digital tools, and their project completion rate jumped by 23%. That's huge, especially for a company that size spread out over, 40-something countries?
Yeah, 42, I think. And you know, it's not just about the numbers. When you lay out a RACI matrix, you can literally see where the gaps are. Like, oh, nobody's accountable for this? No wonder it keeps falling through the cracks.
Exactly. And I always tell my teams, don't just make the matrix and forget it. You got to keep it dynamic, updated as things shift. Otherwise, it's just another spreadsheet collecting dust.
Right, it's got to live and breathe with the project. And honestly, it makes those tough conversations a lot easier. Instead of finger pointing, you just look at the chart and say, okay, who's got the A on this one?
I love that. Takes the drama right out of it. Now, even with a perfect RACI, you still need good collaboration protocols, especially with remote teams. Harvard Business Review found that teams with clear collaboration rules are 25% more productive. That's not nothing.
Nope, that's a big deal. And it's not rocket science either. Stuff like setting collaboration hours, so everyone knows when to be online, regular virtual stand-ups, and using async tools for the stuff that doesn't need an instant answer. It all adds up.
And don't forget about documentation. If you don't have a central place for decisions and updates, things get lost real quick. I mean, I've seen teams try to run projects out of email threads. It's a nightmare.
Oh, don't get me started on email. These days, you got to have a solid digital tool stack. Asana, Microsoft Project, Slack, Teams, Google Workspace, SharePoint. Pick your flavor, but make sure everyone's actually using it. Deloitte says teams with integrated tools see a 41% higher project success rate. That's huge.
Absolutely. And you know, Johnson, you had that project last year where you had to turn things around fast. How'd you pull it off?
Yeah, that was a wild one. We were floundering. Nobody knew who was doing what, deadlines slipping left and right. So first thing I did was whip up a RACI Matrix, got everyone on a call to hash out roles, and then set up a digital suite, Slack for chat, Asana for tasks, Google Drive for docs. Within a week, you could feel the difference. People were actually confident about what they were supposed to do. We hit our next milestone on time, and honestly, morale shot up too.
See, that's what it's all about: clarity, confidence, and a little bit of structure. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you gotta be intentional.
Couldn't agree more. And hey, if you're listening and thinking, my team's a mess, just remember, it's never too late to get clear on roles and set up the right tools. Start small, but start now.
That's right. And we're just getting started. Looking to help your team? Then go to www.pixelzandproject.com and download out free RACI Matrix today so you can start writing the ship. Johnson, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Same here, Jody. Thanks for sharing your stories. And thanks to everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Don't forget to keep those roles clear and those projects rolling.